Hello, welcome back to Sustainability Channel. I'm Tom Montagino from DeFi ESG. So one of the conversations I've had with a lot of other professionals, either in industry or environmental health and safety, is on the subject of ESG assessments. And the two comments I've gotten from many of those individuals is, A, these assessments take a lot of time, and B, afterwards, you can't really do anything with it. Well, I agree on the first point. These assessments do take a lot of time, but I respectfully disagree on the second point. There is a tremendous amount of use and benefit for corporations in having a formal ESG assessment and a formal ESG score. And that's what we're going to be discussing today. Stay tuned. So if you enjoyed today's video, and if you learned something from today's video, please tap the like and subscribe button below. It helps me out tremendously with the YouTube ratings. So I have gotten a tremendous amount of benefit and use from having a formal ESG assessment and having a formal ESG score. And many of other folks in the industry have a very similar experience that I have had as well. So if you score anything above an 80, which is good for ESG. And, of course, the higher the score, the close to 100%, the better. But anything above an 80 is notable, is respectable. And you should put your score, whether it's from GRESB or Equivias or Carbon Disclosure Project, you should publish that score on your website. And I'd also have your ESG policy, ESG objectives for the year, have all that information on there. And let's say you scored an 80 or even a 79. I would highlight and I would make a note in my ESG objectives that this is our first year of the assessment. And although we didn't score where we wanted to be, we're working on this. This is work in progress, and we are going to do better. And this is how we're going to do better. And I laid that out in my ESG objectives for the year. But that website is what a lot of customers, clients, new recruiting prospect employees will go to learn about your company. And it's interesting. With many employees now looking for a new job, they look at sustainability reports and they look at ESG scores, really get an idea, is that a credible company to work for? Do they care about ESG, sustainability, and the environment? Are they doing the things right as it pertains to social and governance? So again, these are things you'd want to share, particularly if you have a good ESG score with employees you're trying to recruit. And I would put together a deliverable for the recruiting department, one page that summarizes these things in bullet point fashion and part of your scorecard from GRESB or whatever ESG scoring agency you're using to help them attract new employees to your company, because right now it is very, very competitive. With your current employees, I would most certainly advertise, socialize what your ESG score is. And if there's some gaps, if you scored in the 70s, low 80s, talk about, socialize. We've had these gaps revealed and we're going to do better in these areas. And this is what we're going to do. And if it's your first, second ESG assessment, you are going to have gaps. There is going to be opportunities for improvement. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, but that's something we have to own as a company. And we have to let our employees know, A, what we do well, and B, what we're working to improve. And I think that's a very positive, transparent communication for your current employees. I've had some great experiences in sharing my ESG score with insurance carriers. And this is something that does resonate with them. It most certainly resonates with your environmental coverage. And I've actually gotten a 25% rate reduction on my environmental coverage with good ESG scores. Secondly, casualty coverages of insurance, worker compensation, general liability, they look at this there and they say, wow, they have good social controls in place. I think they're a little better risk than some other companies I've dealt with, and it will help you with that premium cost. Other areas of coverage, professional liability coverage, directors and officers coverage, it will help you in those areas as well. But I've seen the biggest assistance in a rate reduction with the environmental coverage. And again, that's with a good score, something of a 90 or above. But even something in the 80s, I think, tells a great story. But again, if you're going to be in the low 80s, high 70s, I would tell a story of how you're filling in these gaps to get a better score for that upcoming year. So it's a matter of telling a story. For bank loans, I found this very interesting, is many loan officers have a balanced scorecard. And one of the items on their balanced scorecard is, issuing loans to corporations that have high levels of sustainability and ESG controls in place. And you can very quickly show them what your controls and overall program is with your, GRESB Equivias ESG score. So that is something that's helped me save a couple, not whole percentage points, but a tenth of a point, quarter point on a business loan with having a very reputable ESG and high-level ESG score. And again, it helps them with their annual scorecard, which we're all measured on these days. Investors. Many funds in Europe, pensions cannot buy that fund unless it has an ESG score from an accredited agency such as GRESB. And having that formalized ESG assessment and score will really give investors a sense of the controls you have in place and what level you are exercising consciousness with sustainability in how you operate your business. And it tells a great story. And again, if you have some gaps, if you scored, anything below an 85, I would most certainly tell a story of you've identified the gaps. These are the things you're doing to fill those gaps in and improve the overall program. And that's very important because you want to give them the most comfortable feeling of ESG controls and sustainability strength you can. And you don't want to greenwash anything. If there's nothing in place, tell them there's nothing in place. And quite often, there may not be anything in place in that area because it's not material to your organization. But that's a story to tell as well, either in your assessment or the post-assessment summary and improvement plan for that following year. I would most certainly note that this area is not materialized. We don't have any exposure to that area. And that has helped in telling a story with me, with investors, as well as other stakeholders on these particular subjects where something was material and it resulted in a lower ESG score for that area. Business development. Many of my clients and customers, they want to do business with other companies that have strong ESG and sustainability scores. And quite often, procurement purchasing departments doing business with companies that have formal ESG scores and formalized ESG programs is part of their balanced scorecard. So they're going to be very motivated to purchase your products or services if you fall into those areas of having a very strong ESG program, sustainability process, and score to back it up. And one of the things I really like about these ESG scores is that it really eliminates the notion of greenwashing, because with these assessments, you have to show them your written program and evidence that you're following through, managing, improving, working the program for the previous year. If you can't show them evidence, most ESG scoring agencies won't give you the credit or points for that item. So this really eliminates being accused of greenwashing or actual greenwashing. So this is something that I really like about these ESG assessments and scores overall. So, these are a handful of things of how a formal ESG assessment and score will benefit your corporation. Again, if you enjoyed today's video, if you learned something from today's video, please tap the like and subscribe button below. It helps me out tremendously. Lastly, if there's a subject you would like me to cover for a YouTube video, please send me an email. Suggest it in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to do any videos on any ESG or sustainability topics that would be of interest to you. If you have a product or service out there in the sustainability ESG arena you'd like me to socialize, please send me an email. I'd be more than happy to do that. And lastly, thank you very much for joining us today. Have a good rest of your day.